offline that we need to follow up. And otherwise, if you are wanting to speak at the end, maybe just put your video on so we can see who's speaking. That would be appreciated if possible. Otherwise, great, we'll get started. There are no motions from members to be considered this year, so we will just be recording. The meeting will be recorded for those who didn't make it. So as you can see, there's a recording in the left-hand corner there, and it will be shared on the NZGAP website and via the HortNZ newsletter tomorrow. Right. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bernardine Guillot, and I'm the chair of the NZGAP committee, have been for the past just over 12 months, and also chair of the HortNZ board. Myself, along with the HortNZ board and the NZGAP committee, we're all passionate about seeing the horticulture industry thrive. And we do believe in the benefits of GAP, the program, and all that it offers to the supply chain from growers to the consumers alike. And we're here to support the NZGAP team in strengthening the reputation that NZGAP has built and continuing to see that that works well for everyone into the future. So just a quick overview of our agenda. So we will have some standard items to go through, the committee election from this year, the finances, and we'll also provide an update on our NZGAP resourcing team. We'll then discuss some of our major achievements over this past 12 months and then the key priorities for the next coming financial year. And then we will move to launch the annual activity report and then open the floor for questions. So our strategy. So coming on to our vision is to enable the production and supply of safe and sustainable food. NZGAP is an enabler. It develops and implements agreed standards to which are tailored to growing in New Zealand and are accessible for growers. Our purpose is to provide simplified, cost-effective and integrated assurance in New Zealand, which is trusted and valued. For the past 25 years, the program has worked to empower growers to demonstrate this and to meet the expectations of their customers and consumers. As we celebrated last year the past achievements over the last 25 years, we took that opportunity to also engage with stakeholders to set the tone for how we intend to set NZGAP up for success in the future for the next 25 years and beyond. For us, trust is essential to protecting growers' social license to operate and enabling growers to sell their produce. Trust also enables formal recognition of NZGAP, which in turn minimises the duplication, cost, and the burden for growers in an increasingly complex and growing environment. NZGAP's role is to provide integrated solutions which work for horticulture and are practical for growers to implement. Moving on to our committee. So we've got Matthew Bannister, who may be online, I can't see him here, and Alan Lim. They have both been committee members since 2016 and have served their maximum time. And we would like to thank them both sincerely for their dedication over this tenure. They've both championed NZGAP right throughout that time and supported significant change throughout their terms. Their ability to share practical and grower-centric insights to the team in what is a really highly technical area has been sincerely appreciated. So we will miss you both, Alan and Matthew. To the election for this year. So nominations for the election were sought from NZGAP members in the recent weeks. So just as a reminder, the members are the product groups and the district associations who have affiliation with HortNZ. We received 2 nominations, and so now they have been appointed to the committee. So without further ado, we'd like to welcome Catherine Lewis, who may be on the call here, and if she wants to put on her video just for a moment, but otherwise no pressure, Catherine. So Catherine is from Lewis Farms. She's been appointed to the vacant grower position on the committee. So Lewis Farms grows strawberries and asparagus for the domestic market. It also operates a busy seasonal retail store and manufactures jam for retail and wholesale. The scale and diversity of their operation gives Catherine a wide-ranging practical understanding of compliance, of the compliance challenges as well across the primary sector. This experience, combined with a strong policy background and the grower's perspective, will help her to bring a valuable, well-rounded voice to the NZGAP committee. So welcome, Catherine. And then Cherie, welcome. You're welcome. Thanks, Catherine. Welcome, Cherie. Wickland Hall from JP Turner has been appointed to the non-grower position. So Cherie is the compliance manager at JP Turner. So her role includes managing certification to various standards, including a custom food control plan, SQF manufacturing, Woolworths supply excellence, BioGrow, Fair Trade, Global Gap, NZGAP, and SMETA. JP Turner also have a certified grower group, so Cherie is well placed to provide insights into how NZGAP can improve the certification program, as well as make it more user-friendly and cost-effective for operators. Welcome, Cherie, if you're online here.
I think Catherine was going to say something.
Oh, sorry, Catherine.
Oh, no, I wasn't. I did just say thanks, Bernadine, for the introduction and really looking forward to getting stuck into the work. So thank you very much.
Catherine, and we have Cherie.
No pressure, Cherie.
I'm muting. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Yeah, excited to join the team. Looking forward to it. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. So moving on to the introducing the NZGAP committee for the coming year. So most of them are here online. If you are able to turn on your video just so we can see, but otherwise, so HortNZ and I are grateful to have such a passionate committee to bring leadership and technical expertise to the NZGAP team. So as you can see our photos, please reach out to any of us at any point if you're wishing to discuss all matters NZGAP regarding the future direction and what's happening currently. So thank you, guys. So the NZGAP management team, as you can see here. So on behalf of the committee, I'd like to thank Damien and the whole team for their dedication to GAP this year and their ongoing commitment to delivering on the strategy and the ambitious work program we've got going. As many of you will be aware, we will be saying farewell to Damien tomorrow. He's taken a role as CEO of the Fresh Produce Safety Centre for Australia and New Zealand. So congratulations, Damien. We're really proud of you and all that you've achieved over the last 9.5 years that you've been with NZGAP. And we've really seen your growth as a person and as a manager. So maybe if you, I'll just explain a bit of your background. So Damien joined NZGAP back in 2015 as the Quality Systems Manager and was an integral part in the development of the environmental management system. So moving NZGAP from a fully paper-based to a fully online certification process. No mean feat whatsoever. So Damien became manager in 2018 with the departure of Matt Dolan, and he took on a lead role in food safety as well as recognition of NZGAP and policy. So NZGAP developed and implemented many new programs during this time, including the add-ons for the Food Act, Social Practice, EMS, as well as the Contractor Standard. So as you can see, the NZGAP has grown significantly in Damien's time, both in certificate numbers and in funding. So thank you, Damien. Did you want to have any comments or any departure comments before tomorrow?
Probably have a couple of words to say, if that's all right. Just want to say thanks to everyone, especially anyone online here and all our stakeholders and growers for the support collaboration since I started back in 2015. It's been quite a journey. I've always tried to keep growers at the centre of everything that I do and how I think, and that's been really enforced when I've gone on farm visits. So I really thank growers for opening the doors to me and sharing insights and ideas of how NZGAP can improve for you and for the industry. I really think that the user insights have been really pivotal for directing my approach and how I prioritise the work. Excited for the next chapter. Also sad to be leaving. We've got a lot going on. We've achieved a lot over the years, and I think I'm going to miss out on these strategically important projects that we're doing. But I'm happy to pass the torch at the same time. And on a bright note, I'm still going to be working in the sector and get to work with a lot of you, many of the same stakeholders. So I'm looking forward to that with a special focus on food safety. I think I'd just like to say a couple of thank yous, if you don't mind, Bernadine, to Matt Dolan for employing me back in 2015 and giving this Green Irish boy a chance. I'd also like to thank the committee, current and past, for their insights and strategic direction, especially Tony Howie, who was chair for most of the time at NZGAP. I'd like to thank the board, NZ board, previous CEOs, Mike Chapman and Nadine Tunnelly, for their support and guidance over the years. And I'd like to express a special thanks to our current CEO, Kate Scott, who is online today. You've made a huge impact in a really short time and has really supported me in this big move for me in my career. So thank you, Kate. I'm going to miss your leadership, mentoring and direction as a colleague, but luckily I get to look forward to working with you in my new role. I do have your number. I'd also like to thank you, Bernadine, for being a brilliant chair and a great sounding board for me over the last 2 years. I feel quite privileged to get to work so closely with you. And I'd like to thank you for supporting me, but also for challenging me when it was needed. I would like to thank you for improving that strategic alignment between NZGAP, NZ and our stakeholders, as well as improving collaboration between NZGAP committee, board, and again, many of our stakeholders. And I look forward to our session on food safety at a conference in a couple of weeks. Lastly, I'd like to thank my team for their incredible dedication to NZGAP, especially given much of our work happens behind the scenes over many years, negotiating with stakeholders and regulators and retailers to develop and implement an optimum solution for the growers. I think NZGAP's in good hands, and I wish you all the very best for the next chapter implementing the strategy and work plan. As we say in Ireland, slán go fóill, goodbye for now. Thanks, Bernadine.
Thank you, Damien. Really heartwarming to hear from you, and really looking forward to your next chapter, to watching you grow even more. So thanks, Emma, for your chat message. I think we'll also leave, if anyone wants to make any further comments regarding Damien at the end, then you'll be more than welcome. Not questions, but any comments for Damien would be, yes, very much welcome to the floor. On to the next step, so Damien's replacement. So it's already underway, quite excited, and it's been advertised on Seek. So this role, GM Assurance, it does include pan-sector strategic leadership on assurance, which has become a major part of Damien's role over time. Applications are closing 1st of September, so please don't hesitate to reach out to Phoebe if you have any queries on it, and push it through your networks also. That would be great. So in the interim, Mel, as we all know, thanks Mel, will manage the day-to-day operations. So as was the case when Damien has been on leave, Mel will be supported by Kate Scott, the CEO of NZ, for strategy, key decision-making and people management. And the GM for corporate services with NZ will provide that financial support for financial delegations, approvals and decision-making. So I may allow just for a moment to pause on that, and then questions once again at the end, or if anyone wants to direct any questions to Kate or I, you're more than welcome. Finances. So moving on to the financial performance. So they've been received by the auditors BDO, and so they are included in the annual report that you'll see soon. The NZGAP finances are audited as part of NZ, and therefore the report can be read in conjunction with the NZ annual report to see the auditor's opinion. So probably the main information, the significant line item to note would be that the audit expenses were lower than expected due to audit timing issues in the 3-year cycle. So this is something that will be addressed via an alternative approach to audit invoicing over the coming year. Damien, I don't know if you wanted to mention anything on that, or you're good for me to keep going?
Okay. Continue, yeah.
Yep. Development income and expenses was significantly higher than the previous year, mainly due to the funding secured via the Growing Change project. So just acknowledging Ministry of Environment and NZ for the funding of this project, which is supporting the development and rollout of the environmental management system add-on. So NZGAP currently has 747,000 approximately in general reserve after recording a surplus last year. So this is the first surplus since 2022, which results from the audit timing issue that we just mentioned, the Growing Change funding, and as well as the NZ funding for pan-sector strategic leadership for assurance, which is not included in NZGAP finances. So the current general reserve is compliant with our reserves policy of 4 to 6 months of operating expenses. Surpluses and reserves can be leveraged via co-funding for government grants, which support the development of NZGAP to meet future operator needs and deliver a cost-effective and user-friendly certification. Looking forward to the year ahead. So this is budget for 2025 and 26. It has been approved by the NZGAP committee and the Hort NZ board. So operational income remains broadly similar to last year, while development income and expenditure has decreased substantially due to growing changes project's expected finish date of June 30. So the project has now been extended until the 31st of March 2026, which is really positive for NZGAP, as it means a more comprehensive review of the EMS can be undertaken. So the net position will be similar at the end of the year. We expect with all costs are on charge to the Growing Change project. As mentioned earlier, the on-charging model for audits will be reviewed over the coming year to minimise costs on the small and compliant operators, while also addressing the issue that averaging is caused for NZGAP and certified operators alike. So a tiered-based NZGAP fee model is also being proposed to create a fairer system for operators while balancing the cost benefit of a potentially more complex approach. Moving on, just to note the key achievements for the past year. So the first one was the development of the database, which led to the launch of a new public register that you will know about, which also enabled the launch of fully integrated certificates, which now include all programs and add-ons. The database now more readily integrates with MPI for the Food Act and audit bodies for scheduling of audits. And as we mentioned last year, we underwent a major review of our NZGAP Global GAP equivalent program and rebranded it to become NZGAP Global version 7. So the program is now fully benchmarked to Global GAP version 6 and recognised as equivalent while being more user-friendly and cost-effective for growers. The recognition requirements and processes are becoming more stringent. However, NZGAP continues to attain recognition as a trusted program with key stakeholders like Global GAP and regulators. The other major project has been a review of the audit services and providers. So we're hearing from growers that the process is too manual and the audits are not adding enough value. And so we have embarked on a request for proposals and invited certification bodies to apply to become a service provider for NZGAP. This is the first major review in NZGAP's 26-year history, so it's been a huge undertaking for the team. I'm pleased to say that we are at the final stages of the review of the audit service providers, and we'll be making an announcement very soon. So just watching this space. We are working with providers who are committed to strategic alignment with NZGAP, innovating the audit process and maximising value for all operators. Moving on with the extension of the Growing Change funding, a key priority for this year is progressing the review of the EMS. The freshwater farm plan regulations have not yet been finalised, but however, there is strong support for recognition of industry assurance programs by ministers and officials alike. And finally, the third big priority will be finalising the review of the NZGAP local, which can be progressed once the review of the audit services has concluded. So the new version has an improved structure and simplified content, which is more user-friendly for operators with the principles and criteria side by side, giving growers better direction on what the expectations are. The comprehensive review of the rules aim to simplify requirements for small operators while also making them more robust and practical for large corporates and the grower groups. And activity reports. So just as mentioned previously, the annual report is available now. It's online, so you can go onto that link and it'll be shared, circulated. I think we're going to add a link in the chat, but also will be circulated in the Hort NZ newsletter tomorrow that comes out. And printed copies can be requested by emailing our info@NZGAP. Email address. It includes an update from Damien and I and an overview of our certification metrics for 2025, along with the full finance report that we've just overseen today, as well as an update on our committee and team and partners. And finally, last one is we will be at the NZGAP conference in a couple of weeks, 26th, 27th of August in Wellington again. So we would love to see you. We will be, so the committee and I will all be at the stand at various stages during the breaks, and then the team will be manning it for most of the duration of the conference. So we'd really like you to come and see us, to say hi, to hear if you have any comments or thoughts, and anything that you'd want us to discuss at our next committee meeting, which may be worthy to speak with one of the committee members about. Yes, that's it from me in terms of the formal procedures. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments they wish to raise now? We've got a good 5 minutes or so, at least. So welcome to just read the chat. Thanks, Kate. That's for you, Damien. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Mark. There's nothing else. I will wait for just another few seconds. Damien, do you want to comment to these guys?
Just check the Q&A to make sure there's nothing coming in. No, it looks okay. Nothing to add. I think, yeah, we've said it all today. I said I've had a great time working with NZGAP, working with all of you, especially Bernadine and the committee. So yeah, all the best for the future. And I'm not going too far away, so please reach out if you've got any questions or queries, and I'll pass it on to the team.
Thanks, Damien. Thanks, thanks, Emma. Thanks for the positive comments. That I think the team will appreciate. A lot of the hard work has gone behind that, so it's great. And thanks, Jean. Definitely will be seeing Damien. Looking forward to having him around at the conference in a couple of weeks with a different hat, but still around. All right. Well, I will therefore then close the meeting. Thank you very much for attending and listening to this update. Yes, and all the best for the year ahead. Look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.